wish there was a popular quotable greeting we could use from Obi-Wan Kenobi to say hi to everybody, but there just isn't. So we'll just say, hey everybody, welcome back to the Resistance broadcast.
Oh, actually, he did say that in Revenge of the Sith. He said, hey everybody, welcome back to the Resistance broadcast in the 2-hour mark. You meant,
why are you saying gosh, John? That was James.
Not creative at all to not say what.
Did you just forget the dialogue from
that quote.
Revenge of the Sith?
I love how John gets mad halfway through our sarcastic joke.
He's mad because he's in the middle of the intro.
I got a killer opener, and you guys suck the wind out of the room like it's a vacuum.
Maybe that's because it wasn't that killer.
You know what, James? First 500 weren't bad. The next 500 are going to be really, really rough for you if you keep it up. I got news for you, pal. But welcome, everybody. I'm John. Thanks for joining us today. Lacey with me, as always. We have a great show today. We're going to talk about the latest news going around in Star Wars, and a lot of it is of future shows. You know, we are done now with the Book of Boba Fett, at least so far. Who knows? But we're going to be talking about a lot of the other upcoming shows and a lot of the latest news going on in those. But before we do that, I do want to say, hey, to you guys. So what's going on? James, what shirt is that?
My eyes are
Is that
watering
Visions?
from that intro.
This is the Obi-Wan Vision shirt. Yeah, I think I pointed it out before, but for some reason it has kind of become a go-to. I enjoy having it on.
All right,
I like wearing it.
Lacey, what are you rocking today?
Vader.
Nice,
Vader.
Very good.
Familiar with him?
I have Star Wars Newsnet.
Oh,
Still waiting for one of those.
I just give you one of mine, maybe.
I don't want your old clothes. What the hell?
Why not?
What? I don't want your hand-me-downs.
I'll wash it. I'll sign it too if you want.
No, you weirdo. No, I don't want your shirts.
All right. Anyway, we do have a few things to get into before we get into the Resistance Report. Yeah. We want to reveal our giveaway winners from our TRB 500, our 500th episode last week. We launched 3 giveaways on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, the Twitter one was for the Dave Filoni Trapper Wolf Black Series figure. Very popular. I don't know if it's rare yet. I don't know what the scalpers have done with it.
It did sell out, so yeah, it's pretty rare.
Yeah, great. So we have one, and we're giving it away to this person who was awesome enough to retweet our tweet and comment what their favorite TRB episode was and followed us and all that good stuff. And the winner of that, I guess we'll each take one. We'll each take a turn to give out the glory. I feel like Twitter's my jam because I run the account, and then we'll do Lacey on Instagram and James on YouTube. That makes sense to me. But the winner of the Twitter giveaway is at Bendu_Jedi, who said our episode on the unintentionally funny moments in Star Wars was their favorite episode. So thank you very much. You won the Dave Filoni Trapper Wolf figure. We'll be in touch, and we'll get that out to you. Now, Lacey, Instagram.
Yeah, so Instagram, we had a giveaway of a TRB t-shirt and the George Lucas figure, which is also a rare figure. Now, keep in mind that this one hasn't arrived yet, whereas the Dave Filoni and the other figure we can send immediately, so there's going to be a little bit of a delay. But congratulations to Jamie Gerber at JL Gerbs. Love that username. She said her favorite... Oh, we're her favorite pod. First of all, thank you for that.
Oh, cool.
And then she said it's a tough choice on episodes, but she loved when Paul came on from Kim's Convenience and Carson Teva to talk about how geeky he is and what he does behind the scenes and like how fun. He's just the best. And he just announced, by the way, that he has like some fandom show. I'm so excited. He's like the host of some like geeky
that makes a lot
fandom
of sense.
show. And I was like, that is perfect for him. So that's great. So congratulations, cool. Jamie.
Yeah.
All right. Now, James, YouTube.
The YouTube one, the prize was the Paz Vizsla Black Series figure, which is coincident. Well, it's actually not. Be forewarned on this prize. He is unstable and sometimes falls off of desks. So, but yeah, that particular prize and of course the TRB shirt. This one is going to Philip Brannon.
Yay,
Brannon.
All right.
Yeah. Philip said, I've been watching and listening, or watching/listening, both back and forth, I guess, for at least 2 years. And their favorite episode is, because they're a huge Rebels fan, is the episode with Taylor Gray from
such a good
2020, the end of 2020. And he said, sorry, I have no other social media, so it's YouTube or nothing for him. He had to delete Twitter. He said it got a little too negative for him personally, but Twitter or nothing, or I'm sorry, YouTube or nothing. So there it is.
It worked out for you, Philip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause you won.
Philip, send us an email, resistancebroadcast@gmail.com, so we can get your details and get Paz Vizsla out to you.
Yeah, Jamie and Bendu_Jedi also email or just DM us. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody who entered. Apologize if you didn't win. We will have more giveaways in the future, of course, as always. But thank you for celebrating our 500th episode with us. As we move forward with episode 501, we have a great show. So let's get into it right now, James, with the Resistance Report.
It's the Resistance.
All right, so I don't know who's going to be surprised that Kenobi is officially debuting in May, considering we've been leading up to that rumor for so long. People have been speculating here and there, and we even had someone somewhat official sort of accidentally tweet that and kind of back out of it, and we, even as Star Wars News, that were like, I don't know, that seems a little weird. That, is he referring to a comic? He said Disney Plus, so it's kind of confusing. So we should have expected at that point to recognize that it was coming in the next few days. Oddly enough, on the Book of Boba Fett season finale day, we got a new poster for Obi-Wan Kenobi and the official day that the show is going to debut, which is May 25th. Pretty excited about that one. John, I'm going to start with you on this particular story. What are your thoughts on the poster and now the official day and of what that means?
I'm really excited about the day because that means the three of us can watch it together. And
that's at Celebration. That's
how long?
Yeah.
How long has this episode been recording? 8 minutes. So up until 8 minutes ago, I was excited about that. But
Get ready,
no. It will be really cool to watch that together. We'll get to do it at midnight for a change. We're East Coasters, so that'll be cool.
Hyped up on Disney pretzels.
Right? Yeah, Disney pretzels and Disney beers for me. But it's going to be really good. It's going to be really exciting to do that with you guys and be able to engage with other Star Wars fans out there, because it's going to be the eve of the official launch of the the event itself. So I'm excited for that. The poster, that people may get mad at me. I'm not a big fan of the poster actually. It looks like it's like the sand stuff, like bottom down, looks like it's some sort of like weird environment from like a car commercial or like those Johnny Depp cologne commercials. I'm just not vibing it's just too much surface area, and he's like all the way back there, and he's obviously holding a lightsaber of sorts, and I'm trying to zoom in and stuff, and I'm like, is that Anakin's?
It looks like Anakin's.
Yeah. It's fine, but I have a hard time seeing people who are like, this is an amazing poster. To me, it's not. It's fine. It's good. It's Obi-Wan Kenobi walking on a sand dune with some sort of breeze blowing through, and he has the two suns behind him, and there's clouds, even though I've never seen it rain on Tatooine. But it's fine. The poster's fine. I'm really more excited the fact that we are like 100 days away from seeing this show. And now from here, for all we know, full disclosure, we record these episodes a few days ahead of their air. For all we know, a trailer came out yesterday.
I was going to say, it seems like it's leading up to the Super Bowl.
And we're adding that reaction to this episode right here.
If it exists.
We didn't. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm excited that it's going to be ramping up either way, whether we saw the trailer yesterday or not. That's what I'm really excited about. But the poster, for some reason, it didn't I'm always hyped on Star Wars, so I like it, but I'm not going to be like framing this and putting it on my wall or anything. I'm going to be looking for maybe, I'm assuming this might be the teaser poster and there's another one coming. Like, Boba Fett had more of the filled out poster as the series went along. I'm curious to see what they do there, but it's fine, I'm just really, now that Boba Fett is done and this is the next live action series coming, I have turned my dial to Kenobi, so it's great timing. And I'm just really excited to see Ewan back in the mix more than anything.
Lacey, thoughts on the poster?
So this came out of nowhere, and we were all just kind of like, wait, what? Because this came out clearly during the Disney stockholder call, right? Quarterly earnings call. Which, again, why do they keep announcing stuff to only people that are like, yo, you got money? We'll tell you stuff if you got money.
I can actually answer that. It's because they have money.
Yeah.
If you're curious.
Anyway, I'm just joking. The poster, I actually like it. Outside of John's comments, I get why you said those things, John, and I respect your opinion, but I also think it's wrong. So
it's like roast John Day on TRB.
No. I think it's really pretty. It kind of sets up the tone of the seriousness of the show and where the character is at that point. I think it also plays kind of a look back on the prequels of where we left off. Like, he was leaving off at the sunset, and this one's clearly like kind of like a sunrise. It's like, hey, we're getting back into this. The story's picking up.
Wait, how do you know that's a sunrise, though?
I would bet that's a sunrise. Because his story's beginning, it's not ending.
I mean, that makes sense, but
yeah,
I see what John's saying. It's like you can't really tell if it's going up or down.
I'm right. I'm always right.
Oh my god.
So
I never know which version of you I'm getting when we start these episodes.
But yeah, I like the
early on Tatooine.
Yeah, I like the poster. I think it's cool, and the only problem is they only upload like a really low res version online, so you can't really zoom in. It's like kind of blurry, and some people have gotten higher res ones, but even then it's still kind of blurry. But yeah, it looks like he is holding Anakin's lightsaber, which is an interesting kind of like little Easter egg. I know people were saying they could see stuff in the sand. I see nothing.
No,
It's not like a magic eye. I don't know what you're talking about.
The clouds spell out something.
The only thing I see if I blur my eyes is a schooner.
A what?
Mall rats. I get it.
John got it.
Oh, I've never seen mall rats. But yeah, so I'm really excited for this. And like John said, we're going to be together, so that's really cool. We'll have to do like a watch party or something. I was...
Cool.
What?
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was more hyped about that, I think, than actually it being the anniversary of A New Hope, like the 45th anniversary of Star Wars. I was like, okay, but we're going to be together. And like that to me was more exciting. It could have been like a random day, at any month. But it is cool that they're picking that day specifically. I can imagine that they might even hold a watch party at Celebration because it is the day before the show starts. So they might do a kickoff event where they do a watch party the night before the show. Kind of a missed opportunity.
Maybe
why not? They have the building. They have the building all week long.
You're right, Lacey. But John is proposing, or I'm thinking potentially before.
Oh, you think earlier? They might do a red carpet premiere at Celebration, but I doubt it.
Well, technically, it's going to be the day we get there because it's going to be the midnight of that night, which is Wednesday.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I was hoping it was but they might hold it. You don't know. They have the power to do whatever they want. They didn't say what time. They just said the 25th. So they could be planning for something.
Can you picture him just like like he keeps walking towards the camera and then he's just like Sauvage.
What?
Oh yeah,
what
absolutely.
Are you talking about?
He's talking about perfume commercials. Like,
have you not seen that Johnny
commercials
Depp cologne commercial? Where he's like Sauvage. And
you know what's funny about that is I said to my wife on that specific commercial, I was like, this one sort of actually makes sense to me. Every other perfume commercial is worse.
You mean like the Adam Driver horse one where he's like in the water and there's a horse and then he's riding the horse?
All of them, like Charlize Theron or like, like it doesn't matter who it is. They make no sense whatsoever. Like Natalie Portman just like running around. You're like, what are you doing?
She's
None
like,
of this makes any sense.
She's like, oh, Chanel Mademoiselle. And you're like, okay, I get it. You're in France. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's cool. I'm excited for the show. it's so fun to just be pumped about Star Wars more than anything else. So when everybody collectively is excited about things, and yes, I saw comments that were like, "Oh, Tatooine again," and I was like,
Sure.
have you seen the movie Star Wars? I don't know. But yeah, I'm just excited to be pumped with everybody else.
Yeah, so I like the poster. I do. I don't like Pac-Man in the background. That's a little annoying. Had I been editing the thing, I would have been like, let's remove that cloud.
Oh,
it doesn't
the
need to
sun?
be there. Yeah, I only see Pac-Man, so it takes me out. But the thing about it that is interesting to me is like, is it a typical Star Wars poster? No, but I like it when Star Wars breaks away from those types of posters. Like, do I want the theatrical poster for Rise of Skywalker to be the one with like Rey and Kylo on the wreckage with the Emperor looming over? No, but like, do I have that one hanging in my room? Yes, because it's awesome. Like,
I'm
it's
an
just
idiot. I just
cool
noticed that the lightsaber
image.
is the eye in Kenobi.
Yeah, that's old
Oh,
news. That's when
yeah,
we first got.
Do you know what lightsaber it is?
It's his.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, I like it. I like it as a piece of art, and I think it is pretty good. And I love the posters that specifically always look like it's almost a photo, but it's like also kind of art. You know what I mean?
Mhm,
I just
mhm.
love that style. Like, that's kind of the Drew Struzan sort of thing. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't tell if it's a photo or art. And like, Star Wars has been doing a lot of that. I like the Book of Boba Fett one too, which is the Mando fan show kind of artwork that we were doing. But this is very similar to that too, and just but a lot more lonely and desolate. You know, he's one man in a sea of nothing but sand. So it's kind of cool. I like the poster overall.
And we did get a description. Ish.
A description from like the show, you mean?
Yeah, a press release.
Yeah,
didn't see that.
I think it's the same, but
Is it the
if you wanna
same one?
read it. Yeah, I didn't gather anything new from it.
It's the story begins 10 years after the dramatic events of Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, in which Obi-Wan Kenobi faced his greatest defeat, the downfall and corruption of his best friend and Jedi apprentice Anakin Skywalker, who turned to the dark side and became the evil Sith Lord Darth Vader. This series also marks the return of Hayden Christensen in the role of Darth Vader. Joining the cast is Moses Ingram, Joel Edgerton, Bonnie, is it Peace?
I think so.
Yeah, peace.
Kumail Nanjiani, Indira Varma, Rupert Friend. Is it Friend?
Friend.
O'Shea Jackson Jr., who's awesome.
You've got a friend in me.
Sung Kang, Simone Kessel, and Benny Safdie.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yep.
Why'd you put
Interesting.
yourself through that?
One of the
You hate
Safdie brothers,
pronouncing
which
names.
is interesting.
Because I felt like I had already read the first part. I have to continue with the second part. I
Oh.
do hate reading names because I feel like so terrible when I get people's names wrong. But
Yeah.
here we are.
Along with the poster, though, we wanted to talk a little bit about some rumors for Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show that I wouldn't consider them spoilers, just kind of rumors about who so-and-so might be playing. But we heard it from a couple different people in a couple different places. This isn't our story. I'm saying we as the Star Wars community. That Rupert Friend's, ironically enough, character
Friend?
may... What?
Friend.
Rupert
Friend.
Friend. No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
joking.
May have a Rebels connection, which he's not just playing an Inquisitor, but the way he's been described by a couple different sources very much seems like he's playing the Grand Inquisitor. So he doesn't have like a crazy track record of stuff that you may know him from, but this would be a really cool role considering he's kind of doing what we just saw a lot of the Book of Boba Fett do, which is like, here's a character from animation or a comic series or something like that. We're bringing it to the screen for the first time in live action. So, Lacey, do you have any thoughts on this person playing the Grand Inquisitor and maybe some of the other rumors tied to other people playing Inquisitors as well? Sung Lang and some Moses, what's her name? Sorry.
Moses Ingram, yeah.
Moses Ingram.
I'm super pumped just that they're in the show, first of all, especially for you, James. I know you were like super excited that like out of everything with the Kenobi stuff, you were like, that's the one aspect I'm actually interested in because you weren't really for the Kenobi show at first.
I'm more excited for Hayden Christensen as Vader than I am about Obi-Wan as
that's
Ewan as
fair.
Obi-Wan.
Rupert, I know him from Pride and Prejudice from 2005 with Keira Knightley. He plays Mr. Wickham, who's like kind of a bad guy.
Is every man in that movie?
A lot of British
casting
people
we talk
are.
about, you're like, he was great in Pride and Prejudice.
You should watch that
Probably
movie. It's very
because
good. It was
Every time we talk about him being in, that's the only point of reference she has for it. So
It's
we hear
true. But he is evil in that movie, so that's what I'm saying. Like, he's very, like, I don't know, sus, if you will. So I will say that I believe I think that he's going to be playing a bad guy, because I can't see him playing a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's all I've known. Plus, he has very, like, strong facial features that could rock the makeup really well, which would be cool. And so what we've seen from Book of Boba Fett with Cad Bane, I feel like now they can do anything. Like, I'll never doubt them again. Of like, could they pull off this creature alien? I think they're doing pretty good. They're doing all right. But I don't know how I feel about Sung Kang doing a villain, though. I really wanted him to be a good guy because I love him as Han in Fast and Furious. So it hurts my heart to know he's going to be a bad guy. But at the same time, he might be really awesome at it. Other than that, I'm super excited to see them in Kenobi. And I think it's a really cool element that, once again, is tying everything together. And I know years ago, we were always talking about, like, would they ever make the transition to live action? And now we've seen that done so many different times that it's clearly this interconnected story, which we always knew it was, but even more so, that connects the animated with the live action, with the movies, with the TV, with the books and the comics and everything. And it's just really cool to know that any character that you see in any medium could end up somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's interesting, too. I think I speculated once before, there is an Inquisitor that kind of is of some type of Asian descent. It appears in the comics he looks kind of like that. So if they're bringing that particular Inquisitor in, then Sung Kang would be blind and, like, have a blindfold over him the whole time.
Cool.
Which is kind of interesting. I don't know. Like, I don't know. Just, we haven't seen a Star Wars character like that. I guess we saw Kanan. I was going to say since, like, Force Unleashed. You know, when you got the character.
I was going to say Rey in Colin Trevorrow's script.
That's true. That's true.
She was
John, what are your
maimed.
thoughts? Yeah, what are your thoughts on Rupert Friend playing the Grand Inquisitor, or getting that sort of like Rebels live action brought into this story that people have been waiting so long for, the Obi-Wan story?
I think that's cool. I think that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious because Jason Isaacs voiced him in Rebels, and
Yes.
Jason Isaacs is a very accomplished actor in his own right. You know, Harry Potter, probably people probably know him a lot from Harry Potter more than anything. But he's been in a lot of stuff. He's had a long career. He's 58, so maybe the age is a thing. Though I don't think the Grand Inquisitor is that young. I believe he's like 50 or something in his own right.
No.
No.
He's
No?
No, because he was not a Jedi Knight. He was like a Padawan when the purge happened.
Wikipedia says prior to 47 BBY, his birth,
Really?
which would put him at
Oh, wait.
57 in the Kenobi series.
Oh.
Oh no! It put him at. No, I'm screwing up my stuff. It put him at 37. Yeah, so he'd be 37 around the Kenobi series or something like that.
Oh yeah. My thoughts on him are more like, well, I guess Rebels would be even later. I don't know. I guess in my head I'm still thinking of him like he was a Padawan when X happened, but I guess Rebels would be like 20 years after that even. So
Yeah, and he. Are we allowed to give Grand Inquisitor spoilers that have been in things that came out years ago?
I'm sure it's probably
Okay,
fine.
Spider-Man was only like a month ago, so
Nobody commented on that.
I
That was
just
interesting.
saw Ghostbusters, and I'm surprised I didn't get spoiled by that. And I just saw that last week.
Yeah.
No one spoiled that for me.
But,
I
I'm
was
almost
very
to the
proud.
point where I'm going to start going to the theater because there's just too many that I'm like, I'm reading online
Granny
like
boy
Spider-Man's
here.
only coming to stars in like 6 months from now. I'm like, no, I need to see this movie.
Grandy boy here dies about 6 years after the Kenobi series.
Yeah.
So
Spoilers.
So he doesn't
I'd
die
watch
in the show
yeah, no,
if he's in it.
right. So, yeah, exactly. That's there's a lot of rumors and stuff like that. But I'm I think this is something I had heard about this actor playing the Grand Inquisitor, Rupert Friend. So who knows, who talks to who and that sort of stuff. But if this is legit, that's fine. I guess they went with a different actor because of age and maybe like his certain look, because you have to have a certain look, I think, or shape to pull off the Grand Inquisitor. You have to be tall, lean.
Could be scheduling.
Thin faced. Yeah, but maybe Jason Isaacs being in his late 50s. This character's supposed to be in his sort of late 30s. That is a little bit of a stretch, I would say. But either way, I'm not too familiar with Rupert Friend, but he looks like
Don't keep saying that because people are gonna be like, you don't know his name.
They'll just take the clip of me saying that and be like, he doesn't even know who Rupert Friend is.
Yeah, don't don't do that.
No, but like I see, like, so he was the Hitman too, and he's bald in that, and I'm looking at him as that, and I'm like, that works, man. You put that makeup on him, and that could be pretty intimidating. So
is Mr. Wickham. So I guess we're both right.
I don't know what that is. No, but Rupert Friend, that works. I think that works well. I don't know how I feel about the other rumors. We know that Moses Ingram was posting on Instagram that she was working with lightsabers. So that sounds like that could be very legit.
So did Sun Kang.
He talked about it, but she actually posted videos of her like
her using one.
Yeah,
sure, like as a prop or whatever. But yeah, Sun Kang mentioned, like, I think he specifically said my character holds a lightsaber or something like that.
And he talked about Jedi and stuff. So yeah, if that's the case, that's cool. Any news I hear about Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm very excited about. I'm on board with this guy playing. The more images I look of him bald and playing like menacing characters, the more I'm dialing into this
He's bald.
rumor
he can
here.
Do it.
Yeah. Well, apparently he's a good actor too, right? So there you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to add to that, and I was even gonna say, about like to lead into the next story here, like, how much do you want to talk about with Ewan McGregor continuing to praise Deborah Chow and the series as a whole? I mean, I guess it's just something we kind of want to mention, that he was, involved in another interview with Forbes magazine and was going through the process of, answering a bunch of questions. And of course, Kenobi gets brought up, and he goes out of his way again to say, that he loved returning to the character. The prequels were not really received well. He's excited about the future of this. Deborah Chow's great. She knows the Star Wars lore much better than I do. There's a couple cool quotes in here, but again, it's one of those things like, we know Ewan McGregor loved working on this project and with Deborah Chow. Did you have anything specific to call out on this particular interview, John?
I think not even so much from the interview, because it is pretty stock and right in line with stuff he's already said.
Mm-hmm.
So he's seasoned. He's good at the PR game. He's got his bullet points that he already has memorized that he's going to fire off when he's on Kimmel and when he's on, Colbert or whatever. It's going to be the same tour and the same words. What I like, not so much for me, but just, seeing how fans reacted to the sort of potpourri of directors, not as much for The Mandalorian, but more so for Book of Boba Fett, is you're getting one person and one person's vision. So the back and forth and the discourse about, well, I liked how that chapter was shot, but not so much of this chapter because this person does this well and this person does this better. It's going to be like, nope, that's it. Just Deborah Chow is doing every episode. It's going to have the same feel, vibe, look, tone to it. And again, I've said this before, the fact that he's continually going out of his way to herald his director is something he doesn't have to do. She's not necessarily a marquee name where people are like, oh, like Spielberg. Yeah. So the fact that he's putting himself out there after having experienced the prequels, which were not received well, and just putting it all on the line, saying like, I'm really proud of what we're doing. Fans are going to be happy. And Deborah Chow, that's a good sign to me, because this guy has been acting for decades. He's worked with a ton of different directors from all sorts of kinds of directors. And the fact that he is just constantly praising and singing her praises is instilling a lot of confidence in me, beyond the fact that we've seen already what she can do in Star Wars, and I think mostly people have liked what she's done so far with The Mandalorian and her episode. So it's like a warm blanket, and it feels good because this is the show, like I keep saying, that absolutely cannot miss. Like, we can't be podcasting on those Wednesday nights or online, and people saying like, oh man, they really missed the mark with this episode, or missed the mark here, and this blah blah blah. It's 6 chapters. The show's got to be, as a total package, it has to be a hit. This show cannot miss. And
don't put too much pressure on it, man.
That's 100% true, though, and you know it. This is the one thing everyone's been begging for this show. Every fan has been wanting this show. This is the one that absolutely 100% has to deliver.
Yeah, but what happens then? People cancel their Disney Plus?
I don't.
It wasn't as good as they thought.
What do I care what other people do? Do I ever care what other people do?
A little bit.
What? I don't understand where you're coming from.
I don't care about Disney Plus. I don't care. I don't get money from Disney.
You're
I don't
saying,
care who's subscribing to
I was
Disney
just saying,
Plus.
you're saying it absolutely has to hit. Why? Why? Because these people are going to cancel their Disney Plus if it wasn't as good as they thought?
No, because it's our one shot to get Obi-Wan back. I don't care about Disney Plus subscriptions. What are you talking about?
All right.
What is happening?
Do you disagree with that? You think
I
that
think
after
you're
all
saying,
these
like,
years,
yes,
Obi-Wan Kenobi comes back as Ewan McGregor. He gets another chance to play Obi-Wan Kenobi. You think it could be a mediocre show? Absolutely not.
No, I'm not saying
I think
that.
he's saying, why are you saying it's got to be a hit or like
why
a hit?
does it have to be a hit? And I'm saying
think that's
don't
what
put
he's
so
asking.
much pressure on it, because it seems like there's a lot of hype there, like that thing, forget me, it's going to be better than Mandalorian. It's got to be better, all this stuff. And it's like, what if it's not, though? Like, let's just chill out and like let it be an Obi-Wan Kenobi story. And that's fine. It's like, maybe it doesn't have to hit. Does it have to be like the best thing we've gotten out of Disney, period?
I didn't say
what I mean?
that.
It's like, what?
I did not say any of those things you're saying.
He's not saying you're saying that. He's
but
just
he's
talking about the
dissecting
concept.
what I'm saying by saying things I did not say.
I think he's just breaking down the concept
I'm trying
of
to understand when you say this
over-expectations.
100% has to be a hit. It has to be. It cannot be not a hit.
Correct.
And I'm like,
correct.
What does that mean? What are you saying? Because it sounds like you're putting
I'm trying
a lot
to
of
explain it, but
pressure
you're putting words
on
in my
the
mouth
show.
that I did not say.
I think I agree with John in the sense that he's such a beloved character that it's like, you can't mess up with Luke Skywalker. You can't mess up with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
This
I
is
think
one
that's
shot.
the pressure that I'm seeing, at least.
It's a limited series. It's a one-shot deal. You're getting Obi-Wan Kenobi back. This can't be a C-, is what I'm trying to say. It has to be good. It has to be good.
Only because it is one of the original characters from the original trilogy as a series. I think that's where I, at least, am seeing from my perspective of the pressure of, hey, you have to deliver.
And that
Because people are going to have very high expectations.
99% of fans have wanted this for 2 decades.
It's
just
true.
Everything is pointing to this. Like, there is pressure on it. 100% pressure on it.
I get that there's pressure on it.
And
I'm
not
just saying,
falsely
I don't
created
know
pressure. It's
what that
organically
means,
created
like,
pressure.
There 100% the sequel trilogy has to hit, because if it doesn't, then what? Like, well, it didn't hit.
I'm not talking about the sequel trilogy. I'm talking
He's
about
giving
this.
an example. I see what you're saying, James, though. It's like kind
Come
of
on.
where we are right now with the Book of Boba Fett. Like, people went in with such high expectations, and we talked about this last week, that I think a lot of people were let down by the finale because they weren't getting what they wanted. It's kind of like that we're having this conversation all the time, guys, which is like fan expectation versus what is needed. So I see what both of you are saying is what I'm saying.
I don't want people to watch this podcast or listen to this podcast and think that I'm saying they need to deliver on fan expectations.
I'm not saying that. I'm just talking about the 2 topics of fan expectations versus a popular character having to deliver.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm going to be as simply put as I possibly can and just say this series needs to be good. That's it. That's all I'm going to say.
Anyway, on a lighter note, reading this quote, guys, I hear him talking. Do you guys know his accent at all? Like, have you watched?
I can't do a Scottish accent.
I can't.
Neither can I, but I can hear the
it.
way he said it. So he talks like this, like he's like, I mean, it's quite interesting. And then he'll go on to the next topic. Like, that's how he talks. He like talks in little statements. And it's so funny because I'll read his quotes and I'll hear it in my head of like, oh, that's so Ewan. Anyway, my favorite part of this interview is him talking about the prequels. And I know I say this every time he gives an interview, but the idea that he acknowledges that the prequels weren't necessarily received the way that they'd hoped. But the fact that he's acknowledging that people like us that have grown up with them and have been with them for a while and have come back around or have always loved them. I loved the part where he said, you know, the kids who we made those films for. And I feel like that's such an important statement nowadays. The kids we made these films for, because at the end of the day, Star Wars is for children. So we could be big fans of it. And I'm a strong believer that as an adult like myself, I could be super passionate about it. I can love it. I can dissect it. I can get into the nitty gritty like we just did. But this is for kids and to inspire kids and be hopeful, like Dave Filoni said. So I love seeing these quotes from Ewan McGregor where he's talking about how these are for kids. So I think that we are going to get a little bit of darker side of Obi-Wan Kenobi. But at the end of the day, there are going to be those moments like Baby Yoda, Grogu, and Mando that kind of equal out the dark so that families can watch this series together.
Sure, absolutely. And speaking of series 2, you'll see why that's a pun in a second. We have Andor coming as well this year. We don't have any sort of official confirmation on the date, but you got to think it's like probably fall roughly, because, you know, you're spacing out Book of Boba Fett, then the Obi-Wan show is in May, and so maybe sometime in the fall. But we're actually, we knew this was an ongoing series, but we got from our lead leaker on Andor information, Stellan Skarsgård.
I was going to say, is it Stellan Skarsgård?
Yeah. He was asked a question about, you know, what his year looked like. And he's like, well, I'm doing Dune around this time. And then I'm doing, you know, the second season of that Star Wars show. We're going to be filming at the end of this year. I don't know when it releases, but, you know, we want to get ahead of schedule and stuff like that. So it's like he just kind of dropped a bomb like, yes, the second season of Andor is like right around the corner. And probably the only reason we haven't seen stuff yet is because Kenobi hasn't finished. Like now we can expect that poster for Andor like the day after the final Obi-Wan episode or whatever, you know what I mean? Like get ready for the next one kind of thing.
Yeah.
Lacey, thoughts on Andor season 2 starting this fall? Filming this fall.
So it is interesting that once again we find ourselves with Lucasfilm and Disney with Star Wars being so secretive about things, because I feel like we've fallen into this kind of space now where either Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime, if a show's really well received, or even if the hype is there, they'll announce a second season before the show even comes out. Or when the first episode airs, they'll announce a second series or a second season. So I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that it is so like, oh my gosh, this is really happening, only because it's Star Wars. But at the same time, you look at it and you're like, well, this is no surprise. Like it's going to be a successful series. They believe in it. Fans want it. So why wouldn't they give that to them? I mean, look at like Loki, or Bad Batch even, I think is the one example that they gave away that they're doing a second season before the season ended. That's a rarity in Star Wars. Or
we already knew this was an ongoing series. We already knew that we're going to do a second season of Andor.
Right. But I'm saying like for him to say this, like when it's filming, it to be like, oh my gosh, so secretive. I'm like, why don't we just say when it is? Like, why is it such a secret? Yeah. That it always surprises me that this kind of information is always like, oh my gosh. Sure. But it's exciting. I can't wait to see Andor. I think we're ramping up now, guys, into the stuff that's coming this year. And it's just so exciting to hear all these stories of we're getting, you know, posters and teasers and updates and interviews and all this stuff. Because I think once we hit May, it's going to be like a fast track with all this stuff and it's going to be nonstop. So it's just like you have this kind of like buzzing energy that you're like, oh, I know what's coming. And it's really exciting.
John
also, Stellan always lets stuff go. Yeah. Come on the podcast, Stellan. Tell us what's up.
Seriously.
He's like, so I'm upside down, and no. What are your thoughts on the season 2 information we got from Stellan?
I think it's cool. I like a guy like him who is a highly respected actor, considered like an actor's actor, but he also does franchise stuff. He's been in Marvel. He's done there's another franchise he popped in too, I forget.
Well, Dune is what he was talking about here too.
Dune, yeah. And of course now Star Wars. But I was looking at the dates. So Andor season 1 is targeting a July to September initial release, based on how, and that was officially revealed that it was going to be in the fourth fiscal quarter of 2022, and that's how Disney handles their quarters. So somewhere between July and September, you're going to get the first episode of Andor season 1. And why that's important is Andor wrapped filming in late August of 2021, and just based on the patterns that we saw from The Mandalorian, similar filming periods of time, and then when the release came out, that pattern was there from between season 1 and season 2. So you look at it, and granted, it's more episodes, I believe. I don't know if it's official, but
I was just thinking that. I was like, I want to throw that out there. 12 episodes, by the way, is the rumor, but it might be official. I don't know.
Yeah. So assuming that it is, obviously takes a little longer to film, and they certainly did film this for a long time. There were some series that started and finished filming, I think, while this thing was still filming. I think Boba Fett might have been one of them. But the point being, they wrapped filming reportedly at the end of August. It's coming out around a year later. So if they start filming this one in late 2022, figure that it will wrap next summer. Then you could figure season 2 will come out in 2024. So when he says it's a ways away, he's right. Now the question is, how many seasons are they doing of Andor? And are they doing this so that we have these shows coming out for 2023, so season 2 of that's fine to push to 2024. I'm not really sure, but that'd be my guess. If they wind up taking
your Ahsoka is going to kind of take that place for a little bit,
right?
So if they take a long, I would just say this: whenever they finish filming this, add a year to that, and that's probably around the range of when that might be coming out. So, but
another thing I wanted to, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, my last thought on it is kind of like what Lacey was saying. The high level of secrecy, and then you have an actor who's probably loves doing this, but he's not fully dialed into how precious Star Wars is, because he could be filming anything, the sequel to Good Will Hunting, and it'll be like, yeah, we're doing the sequel to Good Will Hunting, and that's going to come out in 2024, and blank is playing Robin Williams' son, and that, like, who cares? But with Star Wars, I was like, but he doesn't know that, so he's like, yeah, we're doing the Andor season 2, starting filming in the fall. Like, do you have anything else you want to say? He's like, why? What's the big deal? Just a project,
right?
Whereas inside the bubble, it's like you even see like the actors, like Tamara Morrison, like a little loose lip too. But then you have some of the actors who, like Mark Hamill, knows the deal. He's like, well,
even Pedro or Ewan, when they interviewed each other. Lightsaber? Remember, Pedro said something and Ewan was like, is that done? Is that filmed?
He goes, oh dear, oh no.
That was so funny.
One thing I wanted to say too is, like, considering the spacing of things, like, it's now mid-February and we're wrapping up Book of Boba Fett, and we know that the first episode is in May. So it's like, okay, so there's 6 episodes, so that's most of April and a little into most of June and a little into July. We're probably not going to get Andor till September, because they probably wouldn't put those two right up against each other. So then if you get it in, let's say, like September, the very end of September, right? Then you have October, November, and December of all 12 episodes of Andor, which really pushes out that possibility of Mandalorian season 3 if they're not doubling up on shows.
Right.
But that all being said, Bad Batch is probably somewhere at the same time as well. Like, they are going to double up on shows, because even if you're looking at this straightforward, like it's probably going to have to clash at some point. You're probably going to get 2 Star Wars shows airing at the same time. So it's kind of nuts.
Yep.
But a couple other things we wanted to talk about just really quick. The Han Solo and Chewbacca comic, we got a little bit more information from that. It is going to include a couple characters from Solo and obviously the Book of Boba Fett. Mostly that's kind of like Kira. That's what you're talking about. And there's some connections there if you want to check StarWarsNewsNet.com and read the article where we talk about it. We kind of break down the connections that Kira is possibly going to have in that story. We also want to mention, too, the High Republic short story collection is coming out soon. We don't have like an official date or anything like that, but we do have the idea that what they're going to do is take all of the Star Wars Insider short stories that you probably didn't read because they were tied to this magazine subscription. They're officially going to put them all together in a catalog and release that as its own thing. So that's kind of cool. And again, if you check StarWarsNewsNet.com in that particular story, there's a couple other things that are kind of interesting when it comes to speculation about certain books that might be coming, like codenamed this. Here's the release date. It's probably this. So it's fun to just head over to the site and kind of read about that stuff and kind of speculated that we just have so much to talk about. It's kind of a quick thing we just wanted to cover really fast. Lacey, there was the Hasbro Star Wars Fan First Wednesday reveals that I know you were involved in. So did you have anything you wanted to say about that?
Yeah, so really quick, they announced for a Wednesday, which is surprising. They usually do Fan First Fridays, but it was a Wednesday, and the Star Wars team announced a new Bib Fortuna playset that had all these pieces in the throne from when Boba Fett kills him and takes it over.
Nice.
But it is really extensive. It's for $229, and it's coming out the summer of 2023. That was the big announcement. They also have other things like Anakin, C-3PO, 501st Clone Trooper, Palpatine, and a couple other archived figures that they're bringing back,
Nice.
some repaints and stuff like that. So definitely go check that out. I did a review of like what they talked about and their announcements over on the site at StarWarsNewsNet.com. I also spoke with the Hasbro team last week about where they're going and what they're doing and supply issues and stuff like that. Tried to ask maybe about some Ben Solo stuff. We'll see. So definitely check that out. But now we're going to head to me for the Patreon pod race. Lacey? Thanks, Lacey. Kicking it off. So anyway, there's lots of ways you can support us here at the Resistance Broadcast. You can like this video, comment, subscribe on YouTube, share videos. Also, let people know that we do a video version is always great. You can follow us on Twitter at RBATSWNN or on Instagram at the Resistance Broadcast. But if you want more than that, including videos each week, mailings, Discord servers, live streams, we do Q&As every month and chats and stuff like that. We just did our Q&A last week, which is kind of like an Ask Me Anything. It's really fun. You can head over to patreon.com/resistance broadcast starting at $2 a month. That's it, $2. You get access to the page and you get to engage with the rest of the community. And as you go up in the perks, you get more access. Like you get to be a part of the show starting at $5 and much more. And you're supporting what we're doing here and what we plan to do for the rest of the year. And kind of just like our hopes and dreams of talking about Star Wars. Like that's kind of what that's the point of this.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for that. But this is part of the show that we have our generals and spice runners take part in the show. So I want to thank them first. So thank you to our generals: Carmelo, Andrew Staley, Jeremy Myers, John Reese, Jetta Rosewater, Paul Olson, Oliver Lewis, Frank Grande, Darth Hurricane, John Charlton, Nick Kratz, Christian Morales, Brian Smith, Matt Chitty, Nathan Shank, Danny, Mike Rumor, Matt Heath, and Val Trichkoff. Sorry, guys, there was a indent in the line, but thank you so much. And then we have our Spice Runners, which is Dave Probus, Neil Shaw, Dulcie Chris, Kendall Gelnar, Ryan Wara, Dave Hornack, Micah Harrison, Thomas Hennessy. Thank you guys so much. And the exciting thing is as we get closer to Celebration, those two tiers definitely have some perks, including the Spice Runners that get to go to dinner with us, which is going to be so much fun.
Nice.
Can't wait for that.
Going to Wendy's.
So this week we have General Brian Smith and his question, which the point of this segment is to ask them a question, then they get to be a part of the show and they answer. Yep. So the question is, if you could have one official movie worn costume from any Star Wars movie or series, what is the one specific costume you'd want to own? So Brian, take it away.
Good evening, Freedom Fighters. Pretty much I love the Desert Stormtrooper costume from Episode 4. It's pretty much the first Stormtrooper armor ever filmed, which is filmed in the sands of Tunisia, of course. And I loved it so much that I put together my own Desert Stormtrooper costume a few years ago. And this is one photograph of it right there. And that's me with a Rebel X-Wing pilot right there. And this is me in a scene with Simon Pegg in the movie Paul. as I was filmed in the armor in the convention scene. About the first 10 minutes of the movie Paul. So, happy to share that with y'all. Appreciate what y'all do in the Resistance broadcast. And y'all have a nice evening.
Nicely done, Brian. Great job. John, what did you think?
He cheated. That's what he did. Instead of saying, I'd want this, he's like, I made my own. How about that? Why do you like them apples?
Yeah.
So
He doesn't
that was
want
cool.
your stupid question.
Two good hunting quotes references.
Yeah. He doesn't want those movie worn costumes. He's got one worn by Brian Smith himself. So good job, man. I like what you got going on back there. You have it looks like a fun atmosphere. You have a lot of collectibles for sure. Thanks for sharing the photos on your phone for our audio listeners. You really thumbed through some cool stuff. So if you don't typically watch, check out the video version. But being an extra behind Simon Pegg, pretty cool, man. But thanks again for all your support. Really appreciate it. Great job. And we'll see you in the chats and on the calls and stuff like that. Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
James?
Yeah, that's the thing is like it's hard to ask a question for like you almost aim the question at like, well, I know you like costumes and costuming and stuff like that. So what's one that you would like? And then knowing that the answer is going to be, well, I own a lot of these. They're not the screen version, but like part of why you want to have a costume is to almost like either prop it up to be able to look at a life-size version of that costume or to like put it on yourself. And like you're very capable of being able to do that with this with being able to make like, I don't know if it is screen ready, like how accurate the costume is, but like, man, like it just is so awesome. I love that type of stuff. So good answer, fun answer. And yeah, like I said, thanks for being in general.
Brian, great job. I love that you have a costume. Every time I hear someone that's a part of our community that says that they either dress up or they collect things or, something like really cool, especially costume, because I'm not a big costumer, but I appreciate people that do that. It's just so cool. So thank you so much for sharing that stuff. Thanks for being part of the community. It means so much to us. And now we're going to go John. John?
All right. It is time for Will of the Force.
I fear nothing, for all this, as the Force wills it.
Thank you, Chirrut. So we have 3 questions. We're going to go through them quick because we are up against time here. We're actually doing okay. But we have 3 good ones. Should be pretty direct in how to answer these. And it really will the Force. If you're new to TRB, I know we have some people who just joined us recently. So first of all, hope you're enjoying the show. Will the Force, we basically ask a question that is sort of a will it happen, won't it happen? And we have to decide, flip the coin, whether or not that's the case. So we'll get the first one going here. You'll kind of get the idea as we roll along. Will we see Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian Season 3? I'm going to start this off with Lacey.
I'm going to say yes. I don't think they took all that time to hire someone and make all that technology to have him in season 2.5, the Book of Boba Fett, and not have him come back at some point. So I'm going to say yes.
All right. Cool.
Man.
James.
You almost sold me on that. Because my thought was no. And my thought being like the way that Book of Boba Fett showed us, Grogu having the armor being sent back and kind of stuff. I was like, oh, cool. Now they did the Luke thing and they can be like, sweet. We don't have to do all this crazy visual effects and have fans like hate what we do with Luke. We kind of did it. It was its thing. It was very involved and heavy, but now we're free of that and we can move on with the story without having to keep this visual heavy character involved. But you're right on that. So I don't know. John, what do you think?
I'm going to say no. I just don't know if they want to overdo the Luke thing and make it not as special. Whereas each time so far when I've seen him, especially now that he's been improved, I'm like, oh. Whereas it might be like, oh, hey, what's up, Luke? I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say no. And also because of Grogu's choice and stuff like that. But I would love it. I would welcome it. I think he might pop up in Ahsoka though, but we'll see. Okay. Next, we have, will Darth Vader's encounter with Obi-Wan weaken Kenobi's powers, as Vader alludes to in A New Hope? James, you're kicking this one off.
I'm going to say no. Because to me, anytime Vader says you're weak, old man, I never took it as like, hold on, let me get a sense of you real quick. Yes, you are weaker than you were before. Like I never vibed it like that. I always took it as just a straight verbal insult to him.
Okay.
So I guess Lacey agrees. Yeah, but it to me, it just always felt like something where he was saying, in your old age, you've grown weak or whatever. And he's just trying to get in his head or something along those lines.
All right.
So I'm going to say no. I don't think there's actually any sort of like weakening of power there.
Okay. Right on. Lacey?
Yeah, I agree. I think he's just basically being like, yo, you're weak. You're lame.
Your face straight up sucks.
Yeah. Instead of like saying like, I'm sensing you're weaker, I think he's saying like, in your old age, like you look terrible. Like I think that's what he's trying to say as like an insult, not as like a sensed feeling.
Like, or pretending that it is a sensed feeling. Like he's like, oh yeah, my app says you are not good anymore. Your mom just sent me a text. Yeah, I'll reply to that later. Kind of
I think you're both wrong.
I knew that. As soon as John disagrees, he gets real quiet.
Well, he put it as a question, and I was like, no, kind of thing. So I was like, John must think yes.
Well, I said no to the first question, right?
No, but you put this question in the thing, and I was like, oh, that seems obvious. So John must think that must be true.
Otherwise,
I think so, and not so much for him saying your powers are weak, old man, but it's more so, like he ages pretty hard, like something, and also the fact that Obi-Wan won that first one. I feel like it would make sense for Vader to win this one, and for something to happen to Obi-Wan to age him or whatever. So that's just a theory, but we will see soon enough, which is awesome. Last one here. Will Grogu use a lightsaber in the Mandalorian Season 3? Darksaber is included as an option. I'm going to start this one and say no. I don't think he is. Only because their reliance on still using the puppet a lot is going to make it very difficult for them to sell us on Grogu twirling around a lightsaber.
They didn't use a puppet when he curled up with the Rancor.
Yeah, but the lightsaber is a lot more. There's a lot more to that than just being like nap time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Also, I mean, the flipping and stuff too. It's kind of
I'm gonna say no. I'm saying no, but we'll see. Lacey, how about you?
I'm gonna say yes because we've seen Yoda do it.
Yep, we have seen Yoda do it.
I think we're about to see somebody else do it. I'm gonna say
James.
I'm going to say no. And the reason I'm going to say no is just because I can want that to happen, or I can think that they're going to pull the rug out and just, surprise us or something. But the story says he chose the armor. So
right.
I just think they're going that route. There's no lightsabers. I don't think the Darksaber would be something, necessarily in his future. And I don't subscribe to the whole, like, he's the future ruler of Mandalore. I don't know. Just, maybe years later. I don't think it's in our future right now as part of a Mandalorian story. So I'm going to say no.
All right, cool. I like that we all had different answers for these. Good job. All right, so that does take us to the end of the show. So I want to thank everybody for listening and watching and being a part of TRB. Make sure you are subscribed on your preferred podcast platform. If it has a rating, rate us 5 stars, please. Thank you to everybody who has been doing that. And of course, the channel, youtube.com/Star Wars Newsnet videos. Subscribe there. We're almost at 7,500. So thank you to everybody who's been joining us on the channel. And go to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your Star Wars news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey, StarWarsNewsNet.com, and my movie podcast, Just Like the Movies. Next Tuesday, we're putting out our podcast on the movie Speed. Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock. James.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Myra Trunks.
Lacey.
People can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gillerin. And like I said, you can find some of my Hasbro recaps from last week at StarWarsNewsNet.com.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you to everybody, and we will see you next time with another episode right here on the Resistance broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.